Morning everybody, it's Wednesday morning, Module 5 has just gone out. This course, as you may have noticed, is about business project management. And we sort of say that the differentiating factor is often that a business project supports the reason for the business's being. It supports a bigger goal of the business. So the business will perceive a threat or perhaps an opportunity which needs to be solved and addressed. And in the tutorial I mentioned a business that is close to me. We have a factory and I want to sell more product. I perceive an opportunity. And what I need to do in order to do that is to increase my production. And my first thought when I walk into the factory and look around is if we had an extra machine, I could easily increase the production and sell more product. But that's not the issue. The issue is, how do I increase my production? And if I do, will I be able to sell more product? And if I sell more product, will I make more profit? That is the issue. That, in fact, is my value proposition. And that's what I need to prove. And I prove that by way of doing a feasibility study. The feasibility study will look at all the detail of, if I increase my production, what extra costs am I going to incur? And when I've got more product, what extra costs will I have in terms of selling it? And how will that affect my pricing strategy? All of those things would be taken into account in a feasibility study. Once I've proved that value proposition and I've done the feasibility study, I can then say, okay, there might be more than one way to skin this cat, and maybe I don't need a new machine, maybe an extra shift. Maybe I can make some productivity improvements. So it's only after I've proved via a feasibility study that my value proposition is in fact feasible would I go to the next step to determine how I'm going to implement this. And at that point, I would commission a business case to examine in more detail each of the options that I might want to pursue. Now, in the detailed business case, I would look at the hidden costs and benefits of each of the options that I think might work. And if I do those business cases in a very similar way, I'm easily able to compare them and I can rank them and choose one. And at that point, I have the start of a project. Now, in this course that we're studying, where are we now? We've looked at the iron triangle, and we need techniques to manage each of the corners of that triangle so that as our project starts, we can keep it on track. And at the end of the project, we have actually implemented our value proposition. That is the important thing. So how do we keep our project on track? And we produce various artifacts which we've mentioned already: the project charter, the feasibility, the business case, the detailed plan. And we're going to look at a number of techniques that we use in order to keep that iron triangle well under control. And some of those things, looking ahead at the next couple of modules, are scope, the schedule, how to budget correctly, how to look at risks, how to identify the risks, track the risks, looking at contingency action, how to manage quality, and very importantly, how do we get more out of our people, and of course all the associated productivity issues. And looking further ahead in the course to topic 3, you're going to be working on some of these in a much more personalized way. You're going to be bringing to the table a project that you are very familiar with. And it's important to choose that project very carefully so that you get the best learning experience. And the important things about that is you should think of an example project that you've been involved with or you're currently busy doing, one that is tightly scoped, that excuse me, doesn't have a lot of change happening within it, and preferably something that is fairly simple, because that will enrich the learning experience. And I'm mentioning this now You don't need to get stressed about it at all. We'll mention it again about a month beforehand and give you more guidelines in terms of selecting a project. But just in the back of your mind, start thinking about it and pay close attention to the content that we're covering, because these things are going to be important in addressing that project when we get to it. So think about it, and as we go forward, keep thinking. Thank you. Bye-bye.